My experience on Smallville. Yeah, again, like everything that I start, was terrified because they had been a family for 7 years, or 6 years at that point, and I'd actually watched the show. So when I was cast, I hadn't really done much before other than a lot of Canadian television, but nothing at that sort of level. And then obviously working with Tom Welling, I didn't know if I could handle it. He's like just an amazing guy, very friendly. The whole cast ended up being very welcoming, which helped. And in the end, it was a great experience because I did get to do a lot of my own stunts, which I enjoy, all the harness work and things like that. And being in Vancouver, it was my first time away from home, so I was just sort of nervous about everything in general, but I used that because I was new to Vancouver and on the show, and Kara was new on the planet. So I was like, I can kind of parlay this into what I'm doing and being uncomfortable. And then eventually when I was more comfortable on the show and in Vancouver, it all sort of worked out well. I did. I didn't know she existed before the audition, actually. And once I found out that I had had the role, I went to the comics. I watched the 1984 Helen Slater Supergirl show and did as much research as I could, but they also wanted me to make her my own. I mean, physically they thought, you know, I looked similar enough to her to cast me, so for that, that was great, but I definitely wanted to find something about her that was a part of me. And then having Helen on the show, I really had a chance to talk to her. She played my aunt, Clark's mom, on Smallville. So that was great. We had a few sit-downs and discussed Supergirl together. But she said she liked what I was doing, and I said I loved what you did, and we just left it at that. So, yeah, a bit of research.
It's got to be one of the fun aspects of working in this genre. You know, unlike doing a period show, you know, as said.
You can't talk to them.
Well, you can have that access to resources, but also it's interesting as opposed to really dry period material that's just dull. Like you get to research, you know, Forbidden, you're going to read cool werewolf novels.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a period piece as well. Just putting that out there.
Someone in this room just started writing a period piece about werewolves.
A sci-fi period piece about werewolves. I would say I only play her from now on. But if someone else was going to play her, I would say keep her strong, give her some morals, but make sure a piece of you is in there as well. Because I feel like if you're going to play a character that's existed before, you can't just do the same thing. So you've got to keep the tradition about her alive from the comics, but also incorporate a piece of yourself so people can relate to you and it feels natural. And get rid of the jean shorts before you fly. That's it. I mean, obviously teaching Clark to fly, it was just frustrating for all the Smallville fans. He wasn't in the cape, wasn't in the tights, didn't fly. That's actually why they got rid of me, because I could do all of those things and it just didn't make sense to have me there anymore because he wasn't going to fly. So I wish we had had an episode where he actually did it for even just a second.
Didn't you do it briefly in season 10 when you came back and you kind of flew off that tower for a second?
I don't remember. But I do know one of my favorite scenes that I did with Tom was where my character tries to push him out of the loft. And that was, you're nodding, yeah. That was a lot of fun because they actually had the doors open and there was a pad below for the stunt guy to do it later on, and Tom and I were laughing because I kept nudging him, and then finally he just jumped out the window and landed on the pad. I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't know there was a pad down there, and I thought I pushed him too hard. And then he just sort of gave me the finger. But yeah, it was fun doing those scenes because I know how important it was to the fans that he fly. So we got close enough, but had we done it, it would have been great. Yeah, I was. I mean, it was the same as V. I was a guest star when I started. I was supposed to do 2 episodes. And then they liked Tom and my chemistry, and they liked whatever was going on there. Sorry? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was sad, and I was sad that I wasn't in the finale. And that, sorry, I just got over bronchitis. And that I didn't get to say goodbye to Superman, to Tom. There was no goodbye, I just took off, which was frustrating for me. But, you know, maybe there'll be a reunion movie or something. That would be wonderful.
Never know.
Never know. I don't know how interesting it is, but it's okay. I was with my family up north here at a cottage, and I had put myself on tape for Supergirl maybe 2 months before that in Canada, thinking no one's going to watch this. It's a huge American show. And we got a call while in our cottage saying that they needed me in LA that night. But I didn't get that call. I was out with my dad on an island. We were lost, and I had sprained my ankle. And it took hours for us to get back. He was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. We got back, my mom was frantic. She's like, they've been calling for hours, where have you been? Why are you limping? It doesn't matter, you need to get on a plane. So we packed up. I had never been through anything like this before. Went back home, found a blue dress and red heels, hopped on a plane, got in, literally pulled right up to the test, limped in my heels. I put the heels on, even for them then, with the sprained ankle, and did the audition, and it was 2 other girls and myself, a redhead and a brunette. So...
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Hair dye, straighteners, it's all doable, but that I thought, okay, well, I have, you know, at least I look similar to her. I did the audition. They asked the other 2 girls to go. I didn't know what that meant, because they didn't tell me. They said, you need to stay, we need to talk to you. I thought, oh, I screwed that up. They asked me to stay in LA for a week at a hotel, and then I got a call a week later once they decided, and I think, you know, 4 days later I was in Vancouver in a harness. So it happens quickly, it really does, and your life changes, you know, before your eyes. You're shooting somewhere else, playing another role, but that's the great part about what we do. You know, it's always spontaneous, and it's not always easy, but it's worth it because we meet fans like you guys at conventions, so thank you. Yeah. You know, I can't think of many. There's one, Tom was directing, and Michael was the president, and I had to do a scene where I'm shot, and I've never had squib on me before. That's the blood that comes out when you're shot. Anyways, I was terrified of the squib, and Tom just wanted to shoot the scene, and so he's like, okay, on 3, just, you know, fly backwards, it'll burst. And so I'm terrified. So on 2, I tensed up. I was like, you can't tense up. Let's do it again. So a couple of times in, I was still tensing up. The crew had a little discussion when I was off to the set. So I came back, and Tom was, okay, 1, and then they did it on 2 without telling me. So I had to, and they got it all on camera, and I went flying back. It's not that funny. I gave him the finger back. So, and that, everyone was laughing because they fooled me. But, I don't know, there was always jokes. Everyone was playing jokes, but it wasn't always on camera. And I never mess up lines, so I don't have any bloopers. Hey, maybe I do.
Last question.
Thank you.
Hi, could you please tell us anything about your experiences on CSI New York?
CSI New York. Yeah. It was great. No, that was with Gary Sinise. I did it this year, and I played an ex-con who murders her husband. And I just played Arlon Haven, who killed girls and wore their skin. So I was on a bit of a roll this year playing killers, which was great, having come from Supergirl. It was very different. But I played, yeah, so that's who I played. I did all my scenes with Gary Sinise, short black hair. It was great. I always love to change it up, and I don't always get a chance to. So, yeah, it was an honor to do that. Thank you.
Well, before we go, it's got to be rewarding to have a crowd of people come out to just hang out with you.
Well, I'm glad you stayed to hang out, otherwise I'd be alone up here. I made them stay.
But what do you want to say to the fans who come out and see you at these conventions?
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you so much for always having the enthusiasm and supporting all of us sci-fi actors, but myself really specifically, I really appreciate it. I always try to do my best work for you guys. So I hope you watch Bitten. I hope it meets your expectations. And if you tune in, we can sell it to the US and more people will see it. So support Canadian film, and thank you.
Thank you.